suspected of targeting a school in northeastern Nigeria on Monday, but hundreds of girls avoided possibly being kidnapped. Some confusion about what happened as to whether they escaped before those fighters arrived. Officials saying now that the militants stole food from the school. That much is confirmed. Recent attacks are raising fears Boko Haram is still going strong. That's despite a long-running military crackdown. A Nigerian high court, meanwhile, convicted 205 Boko Haram suspects on Monday, but it let free about 500 others for lack of evidence and ordered them to be rehabilitated. Well, activist and organizer Evon Idahosa joins us now live from New York via Skype. She's the founder and director of the Pathfinders Justice Initiative. Evon, good to speak to you once again.
Hi.
It's horrifying and difficult, really, to comprehend the fact that we are talking about another attack by Boko Haram on a girls' boarding school. This time, of course, we're talking about what happened in Dapchi in Yobe State. What are you hearing about what exactly happened?
First of all, it's eerily reminiscent of the same story that happened, back in April 14th of 2014. But we're hearing pretty much a very similar story. Boko Haram coming in, shooting indiscriminately, setting homes on fire, and people running into the bush. And so we don't know for sure whether or not the girls from some of the students from the school were actually abducted. But from what we understand from the Commissioner of Police, this information is still developing and information is still being gathered.
All right, so I just want to be absolutely clear for our viewers. To the best of your knowledge, it's still unclear as to whether all of the girls have indeed been accounted for.
That's absolutely correct, yes. From what we understand, the school is still conducting an investigation to determine exactly who is still in hiding and who may actually be missing.
What has the reaction been in Nigeria to this?
I think people are extremely frustrated. We've heard everything from Boko Haram being technically defeated in December of 2015 to tactically defeated, and then even as recent as February of this year, hearing that they've been completely defeated. But yet the attacks are raging. People are still being abducted, and children and girls particularly remain vulnerable to being stolen from their lives. And so, for activists like myself and for many other people in Nigeria, it's extremely frustrating because all we're demanding from our government is transparency and the truth, and we apparently don't seem to be getting that.
And that brings me to this point exactly. Right at the beginning of our conversation, you said this is eerily reminiscent of what happened to the girls in Chibok back in 2014. And at that time, as you and I both know, there was an information blackout. There was a slow response, an inept response when that eventually was launched, and obfuscation. So I guess my question is, what is different this time around as we take in the fact that another school is being attacked, this time under a different administration's purview?
I wish I could say there was something that was drastically different. So far, there's not been a statement from the president. There's not been a statement from any high official that would corroborate what we're actually currently hearing. The truth is that there are people who remain in limbo, including people from that particular town and parents who still don't know exactly what has happened. And so I wish I could say that things were different. I wish I could say that, almost 4 years later, we have measures in place that would prevent something like this from happening. But the unfortunate reality is that it feels almost the exact same way that it did almost 4 years ago.
Which is truly, truly heartbreaking. Why would Boko Haram attack a girls' school again? What's your thinking? I've been speaking to people who know the area, who know the story over the last day, and people have different thoughts. What's your thought as to the motive here?
I think they're trying to prove a point, which is that, every time the government comes out and claims that they've been defeated, completely defeated in this particular case, they're trying to prove a point that we can attack at any point, at any time, and that there's nothing you can do about it. And again, that is extremely frustrating because this means that there are women who now, and young girls who are being forced to choose between their education and their life. This is not just not just has an effect on the children who were affected by this, but potentially lots of children in this area who, were finally feeling that there was some normalcy that potentially was coming to this area, but now are being set back. And so, it's unfortunate that this is where we stand today, but that's just the reality of what it is.
Well, Evon, I know that you're speaking to your people on the ground as we are too, trying to get a sense of what actually happened and whether all the girls are indeed safe and sound. We're going to continue to check in with you. Evon Idahosa, thank you so much.
Thank you.